robust plan towards addressing economic challenges facing the country. National Chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council, Yabagi Sani, congratulated the Tinubu administration on its inauguration and expressed the readiness of the council to support the new administration. While reiterating what Inter-Party Advisory Council stands for, national unity, inclusivity, and dialogue, Yabagi Sani said opposition parties need to contribute to the progress of the country.
As political parties, we want to be on the same page with them. Indeed, we are on the same page with them, because they are from us. There's no actor in the field, the political actor in the field that is not from one political party or the other. And we want democracy to survive. We want democracy to progress. We want Nigerians to begin to feel that dividend democracy that we normally see. That is why we are here. And Mr. Vice President promised us that we are going to have regular meetings with him so that we can further deepen democracy and Nigerians to have more confidence in the growth of democracy.
He affirmed his trust in the ability of President Tinubu to transform the country. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has inaugurated the first phase of Iboro Imashayi Abeokuta Ayetoro Road in Yewa North local government. During the inauguration of the 7-kilometer road, Governor Abiodun said it has become expedient to reconstruct the federal government road, which he noted had not made movement from the area to Iboro enjoyable for the people of the state. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiyu reports.
Particularly as this is the first set of commissioning.
That was the inauguration of phase 1 of the 7 kilometers Iboro, Imashayi, Abeokuta, Ayetoro Road by Governor Dapo Abiodun. The road, which is a single carriageway, according to the governor, would make huge impact on the lives of the people and the economy of the state.
To this community, and we did not think that it would be excusable for us not to begin the construction of this road because we could not afford the entire budgetary provision at the time we were awarding it. So we felt that to show, and demonstrate commitment and sincerity of purpose, let us divide the road into phases and let us complete the first phase. That will convince everyone that indeed we are sincere and we are committed to ensuring that we provide the needed infrastructure across this corridor. So today, we are here to commission the first 7 kilometers, which is phase 1. By the same token, not just commission this road, but by the same token, flag off the second phase of this road that goes all the way to Ayetoro.
Abiodun also noted that his administration would immediately do an assessment for the reconstruction of Itaushi, Iboro Road, so as to make movement from the state capital to Ayetoro and other areas a pleasurable drive.
But this road is very key to us. So I called my fellow advisor and said, this road will not allow us to derive the full benefit of this road that we are doing from Imashayi to Ayetoro. We have to do something about it. And I want to make that pronouncement today, that instructed that the Ministry of Works immediately come here and come and do an assessment of the road from Itaushi to Iboro. We will divide that road into phases, maybe 2 or 3 phases, and we'll begin the immediate reconstruction of that road.
Okay. Governor Dapo Abiodun assured that his administration is poised to make Yewa North and Imeko the food basket of not only the state, but the country as a whole, with the siting of a rice development and rice processing center in the districts.
We want to turn this part of Yewa into the rice capital of Nigeria. We already have the investors that have the resources to turn this place into the rice development and rice processing center in Nigeria. And I am deeply committed to that, as that will be one of the legacies of the administration.
Earlier in his remarks, Special Advisor to the Ogun State Governor on Works and Infrastructure, Engineer Ade Akisonya, said the road, which had been in a bad condition before its reconstruction, would bring succor to all sundry in the area.
Phase 1 is a single carriageway which passes through Iboru, Imashai, Ajano, Ikosi Village Junction. This is another way through which His Excellency, the Governor of Ogun State, is making a huge impact in the life of people of the state.
The Olof Ilaru and Paramount Ruler of Yewaland, Oba Kehinde Olugbenle, among others, confirmed the appreciation of people of the district for the reconstruction.
We give the people what they want, and this is one of the roads that Akademi Yewaland pointed to, and we thank God that today we are commissioning the first phase of the road.
It was started during the Western Region regime. We have never had it so good. The history is there. But our able governor proving to us that there is nothing you can do in Lekki that you cannot do in Ogun State. I commend you for that.
Leaders of the area also urged the governor to complete the phase 2 of the 21-kilometer stretch of the Iboru, Imashai and Ayeto Road in order to enhance the socio-economic development of the area. Yusuf Ganiyu, OGTV News.
A special panel of the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja on Wednesday affirmed the decision of the Ogun State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which had earlier struck out all allegations of vote buying and voter inducement that PDP and its Guber candidate in Ogun State, Ladi Adebutu, made against Governor Dapo Abiodun and APC. The court, in its late judgment, read by Justice M.B. Idris, also upheld another decision of the tribunal which confirmed the validity of the defense filed by Governor Dapo Abiodun. It was established before the panel that the allegation made by Adebutu and PDP was an afterthought which was hastily put together after Governor Abiodun made weighty allegations backed up with police investigation reports establishing that Adebutu and PDP bought votes during the elections in his defense. It will be recalled that on May 22, 2023, Adebutu and PDP filed a reply to the defense filed by Governor Abiodun, alleging for the first time that Governor Abiodun and APC bought votes in the 18 March 2023 Ogun State Guber elections. In the meantime, the Enugu State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal on Wednesday reserved judgment on the petitions challenging the election of Governor Peter Mba after parties in the matter adopted their written addresses. During the resumed proceeding of the tribunal, Justice Akol, who led the panel, reserved judgment on a date he said will be duly communicated to the parties. The candidate of the Labour Party, Chijioke Edeoga, is challenging the declaration of Peter Mba of the People's Democratic Party as a validly elected governor by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in the March 18 governorship elections in the state. While the petitioners, Edeoga and Labour Party, were present in court, the second respondent, Peter Mba, was represented by his counsels on Wednesday. Adopting his address, Peter Mba's counsel, Chief Wole Olanipeku, SAN, asked the court to dismiss the petitions of the Labour Party for lacking in merit and a mere academic exercise. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State has advocated the need to adopt a 5-year single tenure for president, governors, National Assembly, and State Assembly members to stop the problems that usually arise from the quest for second term by politicians. The governor, who made the call on Wednesday at a retreat in Ibadan, admonished Nigerians, particularly those in leadership positions, to brace up for the task of rebuilding the country in line with the vision of the founding fathers. Makinde observed that it has become imperative for Nigerians to come together to rebuild the nation and reposition it on the path of sustainable economic growth and development, adding that the task of rebuilding the country remains the duty of Nigerians and should not be left for external actors. He noted that the call for rebuilding the nation should reawaken the consciousness of every Nigerian of the exigency of having a prosperous and egalitarian country with strong and efficient institutions of governance. According to him, there is still a role for every Nigerian to play to ensure that all and sundry collectively make life better in the country, despite the difficult and very challenging times in the nation. Things are no more the way it should be for Nigeria when we talk about maintenance culture these days. In those days, Nigeria placed high premium on maintenance of its infrastructure as corporate bodies, individuals, as well as groups and governments synergized in this direction. But these days, there seems to be more to do as few people now embrace community social responsibilities. Fawora Adesowu reports.
Maintenance culture, if you like, community social responsibility is now at the lower ebb, unlike in other climes. Fields everywhere and elsewhere, there are blocked drainages and defacing of public utility. Nigerians are no more keen about the protection of landmark projects, and everyone may become a loser for this laxity. How did we get it wrong?
Our orientation is just going down the drain. It's not good. They should have foundations, volunteers, group that will just come up, and some are doing it, like some clubs like Rotary, Lions, some women group, but it's not enough. From our homes, from our schools, all our schools should have a sort of a maintenance culture club, that when you come to a school, from the gate, if you see something wrong, do something.
The respondents believe there is hope if this is viewed as major challenge to the advancement of the society.
Everyone. Then oftentimes I have this mind of corporate bodies rising up to their social responsibilities. For example, when we see some things on the road, a particular establishment along that corridor should have it as part of their responsibility. Maintaining such, either clearing of drains once in a while, maybe quarterly, and so on. Then, as town planners too, we do have meetings with communities. And I remember we used to tell them, if there's anything wrong in your community, it is you that should rise up.
No doubt pockets of individuals still partake in adding value to their environment, but the number of people who subscribed to maintenance culture keep dwindling each passing day.
Our efforts include taking care of the markets and improve the facilities in it.
Our investigation revealed that instead of beautification of the environment, every available space is now being turned into sanctuary, while stores dotted the entire landscape.
Actually, this place is not our abode. We have an assignment from God that we should have a 7 weeks special prayer here for the people in the market. So this place is not even our abode. We came for a particular purpose.
Indeed, there is much to be done, as Rome was not built in a day. Fawora Adesowu, OGTV News.
A cross-section of Nigerians say they have adopted financial discipline to live through the current harsh economy being witnessed in the country. Those who spoke with Nkem Agu say this is the only strategy available to them when earnings have remained stagnant amidst rising cost of goods and services. Her report is presented in this package.
Some Nigerians say their current economic meltdown has inculcated in them a sense of financial discipline in their spending. According to them, they now prepare a mini budget to determine their spending as a measure of coping with the economic situation in the country.
And tough times don't last, tough people do. And there's nothing new under the sun. Adversities like this have been before, and people have had to come together collectively to solve it. Now, like the fuel situation, for instance, now, we will need to be more of our brother's keeper. If you commute long distance and you have people in your neighborhood whom you can help with transportation, in lifting them, either their children or themselves, in making the journey to where they are going to, it will help a lot.
This time around, our belt is too tightening. So Mr. President needs to go out now, see what he can be able to do.
It was also disclosed that some Nigerians have disciplined themselves on how to manage and get satisfied with the little available to them due to the skyrocketing of price of foodstuffs and fuel increase.
We are in it now. We have to just try and manage ourselves the way we are seeing things. It's not easy for anyone. We just have to adjust to the situation.
The cost of things, commodities are high. Transportation, on the other hand, is also high. So, we don't know where to run to. So people are actually feeling the pain.
I want to give kudos to Nigerians for their resilience. I mean, they've been trying very much to really want to cope. Things are not very easy. The fuel hike has been the problem. Fuel has gotten itself attached to a lot of activities, daily human activities, and it has been affecting a lot of things. So a lot of people cannot be able to even drive their cars again. Some are on public transport. Some cannot even be able to do one or two things. So majority of the food items are high now, so people cannot be able to afford a lot of things.
They also advise the people to be patient and not lose focus.
Yes, I can see that of agriculture. There are some steps that has been taken that the agri sector is being focused on. And I must confess to you, if Nigeria should practice full-fledged mechanized farming, we are going to get it right. We are going to feed our people. We are going to have a lot of raw materials from the agricultural products that we are going to export some agricultural products outside Nigeria that we can be able to get foreign exchange. That will solve majority of our problems.
Let's brace up. Nothing lasts forever. This also will pass. And then we'll smile again and sing a new song.
Believing that government will give them a listening ear.
Still ahead, Tertiary Education Trust Fund moves suspension of overseas scholarships. Details of this and more after the break. You're still watching OGTV News. As Nigerians continue to face various degrees of economic reforms precipitated by fuel subsidy removal, there are divergent opinions on how to prevent increase in the pump price of fuel. In this special report, Ayodeji Oluwumi felt the pulse of Nigerians as to the suggestions and views on possible reversal of fuel subsidy removal in the country.
The effect of the complete removal of fuel subsidy by the federal government have continued to bite hard on Nigerians as fears of transportation soar high. Some with personal vehicles could not afford the luxury as they resulted into public transportations. Not only is the fees of transportation affected, but other sectors of the economy.
It has been affecting transportation, like the prices of transport has increased. Paid 2,000 naira before, but after the hike in the price of fuel, I now pay to 5.
For the increase, I use 3,000 fuel like 2 days, but now I will have to use like 7,000 naira fuel. So what I do is sometimes I will need to come very early to shop once I see that there is light, so that I can use light and then a little bit of petrol.
No, it has not been very easy, particularly for all Nigerians, particularly schools, because schools now mostly it will not be very easy to run their school buses because of the cost of fueling.
For the increase in the fuel prices, everything has been good, but now everything seems to be very cost.
Though Government at all levels have beckoned on Nigerians to exercise patience as they are assured things will get better in no time. Government may have taken actions to curtail further increment in the pump price of petroleum, giving listening ears to public outcry. Could this reduce hardship in the economy?
So, from my own point of view, it will be a wrong step going back to the issue of subsidy, especially in Nigeria, for now.
We advise the federal government to is to see how they can reduce the naira, to control naira exchange rate. Immediately exchange rates come down. Once naira can be more stronger, the price of fuel will automatically come down.
I think it would be better if they could go back. But then if it's just that if we could endure a little, I'm just praying that people that endured for the better days would not, it shouldn't be that something that happened before the better days would come.
While opinions vary, some were of the option that Nigerian government should invest money saved from the subsidy removal on agriculture, as it is the way to go. Ayodeji Olunmi, OGTV News.
Former First Lady Dame Patience Jonathan has visited Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu at the State House, Abuja. The visit, which was her first to the villa since the coming of this administration, was to show solidarity with the current First Lady and applaud her for carrying Nigerian women along in her plans and programs.
I've come here to encourage you, to support you, because we are one country and our country must move forward. And I use this opportunity also to plead to the women of this country, because I know that my sister can carry the women along. She carried the women along when she was a governor's wife. So when she's a first lady, the sky will be her limits. She will carry us along and she will move us forward. We Nigerian women, we should come out in mass and support this government.
For the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, the visit by Dame Patience Jonathan was a welcome and encouragement.
Thank her for all the support and the tips she's always given over time. So thank you so much, Your Excellency.
The visit coincides with a courtesy call by the executives of the National Council for Women Societies in Nigeria on the First Lady. Wife of Ogun State Governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, has called on developmental partners and corporate organizations to team up with her in the mission to increase exclusive breastfeeding and provide comprehensive nutrition education to the people of Ogun State. Mrs. Abiodun made the call at a sensitization awareness campaign on benefits of breastfeeding organized as part of celebration of the World Breastfeeding Week, earlier flagged off in the state. Margaret Okunola was at the Premier Healthcare Center, Oru Awa, Ilakoru, Ijebu North local government area of the state, venue of the awareness program. Her reports.
Following the flagging off of the World Breastfeeding Week in Ogun State by wife of the state's governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, with sensitization in various parts of the state, this time, pregnant women and nursing mothers in Oru, Awa, Ilakoru, Ijebu North local government area of the state played host to Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun alongside notable dignitaries on the same matter. There was a lecture session during which the women were sensitized on the right position to breastfeed and the myths surrounding it. It was a two-in-one session, as there was also a timeout to intimate the women on sexual-based violence by a team from the State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. State functionaries and dignitaries, health workers, notable politicians applauded the initiative by Mrs. Abiodun.
Let me tell you, your ardent supporter for all your laudable programs you've been having in lifting poverty among the citizens, most especially among the women. And this is one of it.
Beneficiaries shared experiences on childbirth and breastfeeding, and they also affirmed they gained a lot during the sensitization.
We are here to know about how to breastfeed our children. So I'm so happy for that.
I would like to appreciate her for what she has done, because most women don't actually know the benefits, if not for the awareness of what she's doing.
With the theme Enabling Breastfeeding, Making a Difference for Working Parents, Mrs. Abeokuta on her part restated that her office is ready to collaborate and collectively work towards a future where breastfeeding is supported and embraced by all, for healthier generations and a thriving Nigerian workforce.
The state government is committed to improving upon the gains it has achieved on infant and young child nutrition and open to further collaboration that enable mothers to exclusively breastfeed for 6 months, followed by age-appropriate complementary feeding. I am using this medium to call upon developmental partners and corporate organizations to team up with me in this mission to increasing exclusive breastfeeding and providing comprehensive nutrition, education to the teeming population of the state.
Food items were distributed to the pregnant women and nursing mothers. Margaret Okunlola, OGTV News.
Seeking regular medical check of one's health status and strict adherence to the treatment procedure have been recommended for eradication of tuberculosis in the country. Medical experts lament the rising global TB pandemic with devastating health, social, and economic consequences on the nation. Nkem Agu, in this report, 6 means of eradicating the disease in the country. Her report is presented in this package.
Tuberculosis is a highly contagious disease commonly attacking the lungs, kidney, and the spine. It is one of the most dreaded diseases, but experts say it is curable. Statistics by the World Health Organization say over 500,000 people suffer from the disease yearly in the world, making it the second deadly disease after COVID-19. Medical experts gave more insights on the effects of the disease.
Tuberculosis is an infectious disease, so what do I mean by that? It spreads from person to person, and there are different ways through which it spreads: through cough, through sneezing, through spitting, and so the most important for the prevention is for people to maintain good cough etiquette, because you never can tell who has tuberculosis. So when you want to cough, don't cough into the open air.
So what happens is that most of the time, because our body immune system is optimum, we don't get to develop any signs and symptoms. So where you see the manifestations of the signs and symptoms of tuberculosis, this is usually due to the immune system being compromised.
They note that the fight against the disease was being hindered by people's attitude to their health care and poverty level, which discouraged them from seeking regular medical care.
So if you notice that you're having such symptoms as coughing, a cough that has been longer than this, that you're already talking about weeks, months, you're having weight loss, you notice that you're having low-grade fever, or you are sweating in the night. These are some of the possible symptoms of tuberculosis. If those listening to me, if any one of us notice such signs and symptoms, it's important that you come around to the hospital so that you can be tested and you can be given appropriate treatments.
And apart from being doing the awareness, another ways by which you can also prevent is that when you see somebody that is getting lean, is losing weight, is sweating over the person sweats overnight seriously. So you recommend the person to hospital.
For people who has been diagnosed with tuberculosis, there are medications that the government give free. So it is advised that they should come down. If you've been diagnosed with tuberculosis, you should come down to have this medication. They are free.
The health practitioners advised the public to know their health status when feeling uncomfortable and not shy away from it.
The Tertiary Education Trust Fund has said the recent monetary policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria has created difficulties in the payment of foreign scholarship tuition and stipends. The Executive Secretary of that fund, Sani Echona, disclosed this at a one-day stakeholders engagement on emerging issues with the TET Fund intervention in Abuja on Wednesday. Echona said since the fund's allocation was barely enough to service programs under its tertiary scholarship for academic staff, the fund was considering suspending foreign scholarships while also considering an upward review of local scholarships. The fund at this material time is also discouraging beneficiary institutions from initiating new benchwork programs. Echona said the challenge of scholars absconding has undermined and complicated the TSAS program and bringing it under intense scrutiny. The Executive Secretary noted that the fund had recently signed several MOUs with some prestigious institutions overseas that include universities in Malaysia, India, Brazil, France, and the United States with a view to boosting and enhancing the TSAS program in the future. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has called on President Bola Tinubu to, as a matter of urgency, address the humanitarian crisis in Benue State internally displaced persons camps with hundreds of out-of-school children and many teenage pregnancies as a result of gunmen attacks. ASU President Professor Emmanuel Shodeke made the call during the union's humanitarian outreach to IDP camps at the Abagana in Makurdi, the state capital, where he expressed hope that the federal government would do better this time as Nigerians are facing hardship. Represented by Professors Ralph Ofoku and Stolomaris Oke, the ASU leader lamented the inability to safely return the IDPs to their villages and homes now being occupied by armed herdsmen. The ASU officials also brought food and clothing items to the IDPs, while officials of the State Emergency Management Agency assured the ASU officials of transparency in sharing the items. The IDP leaders of the displaced persons said they want to go home if security were provided to clear armed herdsmen from their homesteads. The Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, may have suggested an end to privatization and commercialization of schools by private entrepreneurs. Balaji Sampson, in this report, seeks reasons from NUT and opinions of people on this suggestion. Her report.
In the early years of education in Nigeria, government and the missionaries were the only organs which built and owned schools. Hence, the schools were commonly referred to as public schools. In view of the growing population of modernization, it became clear that public schools were not enough to satisfy the demand for education, and the education sector was subsequently liberalized to allow private concerns established in the managed schools. Over time, many of these private entrepreneurs rather jettisoned qualitativeness for mere commercialization of private schools. This development has attracted criticism by the Nigerian Union of Teachers, NUT, making the body suggest outright ban of privatization of education in the country.
What we are saying is not total eradication of private schools, but eradication of those schools that were not approved by the government. Those schools that are not following the trend of the government policy on education, which are very, very many. They are killing the nation without knowing the implication of what they are doing.
What about the people that are working in private sectors? Where do you want them to get their feeding from? Do you want to load all the burden on government and make sure that all the resources are put into government sector that they now crumble the economy? No. Private schools should give them room to live. They should even encourage and support more of private schools because they are the one helping the situation of Nigeria to make a better living for people in the country.
Majority of people who spoke condemned the commercialization of education at the detriment of sound and qualitative education.
Living witness to so many of these unapproved mushroom schools in different, you see some operating a school in a place where an completed building, where they just jump pack all the children there. What type of education do you expect them to receive in such a situation, in such environment? These are the areas where we are looking at.
There is need for Nigerian government, through the Ministry of Education and the Nigerian Education Research, needs to go back to the board, to the table, and check. First, the number one thing they need to check is the curriculum. Our curriculum that is where we got it wrong. We are still running a British system of government, whereas Nigeria has bigger opportunity, bigger potentials to run their own system of education that will favor every Nigerian child. Check every Nigerian child.
They asserted that it would not be in the interest of the nation to mortgage the future of the children and youth by placing credence to ineffective education, reason that suggested a free and qualitative public education to discourage patronage of private schools.
And when we are leaving government alone to take care of education, it will bring a lot of gaps in our educational institution. We need the government, we need the private individual. We must be able to create a variety for people. And this explains why even the highly ranked institutions in Nigeria are not state-owned institutions, because private individuals are bringing in their money, and they know that for them to make their money, the quality must not be compromised. And individuals as well realize that they can get this quality of service in this private-owned institution.
If outright ban is not possible, educationists suggested effective monitoring and standardization activities of private schools by the federal and state government. Bolaji Samson, OGTV News.
Business News with Dominic Agbeha is next.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. The Naira on Wednesday got some relief as the Nigerian Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) signed a commitment letter and term sheet with the Afrexim Bank for an emergency $3 billion crude oil repayment loan. According to a statement from the NNPCL, the signing was done in the bank's headquarters in Cairo, Egypt. The loan is expected to provide some immediate disbursement that will enable the NNPCL to assist the federal government in its ongoing fiscal and monetary policy reforms targeted at foreign exchange market stabilization. President Bola Tinubu had during the week promised to take steps to address the foreign exchange challenge in the country. The federal government may sell stakes in about 20 state-run companies to raise funds and improve governance in the entities. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited is among the firms the government may sell a stake in, according to the Chief Executive Officer of the Ministry of Finance, Incorporated, Armstrong Takang. He stated that the agency is considering options, including strategic sales and initial public offerings, and aims to implement the plan within 18 months. He noted that some of the entities need the private sector to take controlling shares, and the major consideration for the government is to create value rather than retain control. These sales may coincide with President Bola Tinubu's plan to reform the country's economy. Takang stated that the agency is in the process of appointing consultants, including valuers, financial advisors, lawyers, bankers, and others to handle different aspects of the transactions. Nigeria has resumed the export of about 220,000 barrels of crude oil per day at the Forcados terminal. The terminal was shut for maintenance on July 12, 2023, after workers saw fumes near a single buoy mooring where oil was being loaded onto a vessel. The development contributed partly to the inability of Nigeria to meet the quota of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, during the period. Consequently, the resumption of export at Forcados would impact on the nation's total oil production, which fell by 13.6% to average 1.08 million barrels per day in July 2023, compared to 1.25 million barrels per day recorded in June. According to the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, August 2023 report, the latest production figure is a major setback for the government, which has a production target of 1.69 million barrels per day in the 2023 budget. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has said the 10th National Assembly was resolved to address issues surrounding multiple taxation in the country. He said this will be done through a bill that would address the anomaly. Abbas said this when Mr. Lee Hon-sung, the South Korean ambassador to Nigeria, paid him a courtesy call in Abuja. He said a committee to address the anomaly had been set up, adding that there was a mutual understanding between the two countries to address it so as to help businesses thrive. The Southern Korean has 20 companies in Nigeria plus investment worth over 3 billion naira, adding that it would augur well to encourage the country to do more. And finally, on the business segment of the news, the federal government, through the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace, has promised its commitment to support Nigerian airlines. The permanent secretary of the ministry, Dr. Emmanuel Meribule, who was represented by the Director of Air Transport Management of the ministry, Azan Ejibono, disclosed this at a reception organized by the government of Antigua and Barbuda to celebrate the commencement of direct flights between Nigeria and the Caribbean country by Airpeace Airline recently. A statement by the ministry's Head of Press Public Relations Office, Oluseyi Odutayo, disclosed that the federal government continued to initiate and implement policies that ensured Nigeria's airlines benefit from the bilateral air services agreement signed by Nigeria with other countries. And that's the business segment of the news. Many thanks for